What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to In the Mind of Haize segment. And so I know we had a pretty long intro to kind of just set the tone here. And so I got a couple of topics this week for this segment for you guys. But the first one that I want to talk about is because this is something that I think about. I think if we're going to be doing this as the In the Mind of Haize segment, I really need to share on not just what's on my mind during news topics or whatever, but what's kind of on my mind just in my life. And so as you guys know, I've made super big adjustments to the studio. Even though for the ones who are watching me now, who have been watching me, this may look the same as what as similar to what it has been before. I actually moved even the red and black side of the studio that I recorded the Awakened Soul on. I moved that into a new location. Actually have improved foam padding behind me. It's just a little bit more of an open space now. So if you go back to some of my videos, you can tell the camera angle that I was able to use was really close in. Now I can go really wide because I'm just in a wider space, but it's not about that. But so in the course of doing that, I just look since the beginning. So if we go from the beginning of 2019 until where we are halfway through 2020 now, it's easily been about, hell, even the camera I use, that's a $4,000 investment right there. I got a couple of cameras, some new lighting to make the lighting a little bit better. And so it's I've spent a lot of money, right, to continually improve stuff. And I think to a degree I have this I have to always have the latest tech, right, in the studio. And I also got a new I'm ordering a new computer. That's probably going to be the last major update to the studio for a while, if I can control what I'm about to talk about. But as I wanted to get into short film, I started looking at new computers, because the computer I originally got when I built the studio was it doesn't take a lot of computing power to do audio. I wasn't even doing video then, so I didn't kind of future-proof myself there. I am with my next computer purchase, so I won't have to really buy a whole new one. I maybe make slight adjustments to it as I go, but so in that time, I've like I said, I've gotten the really expensive cinema camera, I've gotten new lighting, new computers, the extra desk for the other side, the LED lighting, which I've only used the other side of the studio, the other set, once so far, and that was for the most recent episode of Love, Less, and Badass Souls. So definitely check it out. That full video should be up on YouTube around the same time this episode drops, so you can check that if you want to see the new studio setting live and in the color, because it is a really good set, and I do like it and enjoy it. But so with that, I've just constantly made updates, and so I'm sitting here and I'm really happy with where I am now. Maybe this is where you guys can start kind of getting on the same page with me. Is I really like what I am now, but I'm always looking for something new for some reason, and I can't help it. And so there's this new aperture light that came out, and I'm oh, this would just be amazing. I can go from using 2 lights to damn near 1 light. I still need a key light in the back, but it's should I do it? No, I shouldn't. I need to stop buying shit. So it's I have this retail thing where I'm just always updating the studio. I literally just built this, and I'm already thinking about updates and changes I want to make to one of the walls and shit. It's bro, you just built this. It's not even a month old yet. Especially set B, which I really love set B. I've only gotten to use it a couple of times so far, because I don't want, even though it's new, I don't want to just start trickling it in there without a purpose. That I built that set specifically for live stream. That's what it's for. So I'm trying to hold myself to only using it for live streaming, but I'm just constantly trying to change and make adjustments and add new shit. And it's look, I think I'm at a really good place. I really do. And I say all this because there was a new camera to come out, and me and Dan actually talked about it. It's the Canon R5. And so that camera shoots 8K. The camera I have now shoots up to 6K. And of course my brain went to that to justify the new almost $4,000 purchase on another camera. And so I'm sitting here and I'm just wait. Let me not pre-order it. Let me finish making the other updates that I need to make to the studio. And then at the end of the day, if I feel like there's a reason or a need for it still after that, then we'll look at buying it. So now this camera's been plagued with these overheating issues, and I'm not gonna bog you down with the tech talk, because this isn't a tech podcast, but it just made me glad that I didn't buy that camera initially, because it seemed to be plagued with a few issues. But so I'm struggling with the constantly wanting to upgrade new tripods, and I need to slow down. And so what I've been doing instead, and if you're watching this, shout out to Jay from Just Say Words, because I have on his merch. So what the money that I would have had to that I would have used to go into buying and constantly updating my studio, I'm now putting into more black businesses. So I made the decision is that every tee you guys see me in from now on my YouTube's videos for the Awakened Soul, not for Love, Lust, and Badass Soul necessarily. I'll try to do it there too, but it's a little bit of a different podcast. But because I always wear graphic tees or some type of t-shirt when I record these videos, I have now decided, okay, I'm gonna put the money back in the community. I gotta put my money where my mouth is instead of just constantly updating my stuff. I ordered a lot of t-shirts from other black podcasters. I'm also gonna be searching out. There's like this black owned company that makes graphic tees with like sayings on it. I'm gonna start buying some stuff from them. So for the rest of 2020, I've made the commitment to putting that money that would have gone into whatever else to upgrade. I'm going to start using that to support some other businesses and give them shout outs by wearing their merch. Like I said, this tee is from Jay from Just Say Words. Tell someone you love them. So make sure you guys go and check it out. I got the green because like I really looked when I was looking at this website and like looking at what was on there. I almost went right to the black because, as you know, like black is one of my favorite colors. But I was like, you know what, let me do something different. Let me do the green. Not too many people have green tees, so I'm really happy with this purchase. I feel like it was a good one, and be on the lookout for my fellow podcasters. I'll be buying merch from you guys. I actually ordered from a few Screws Loose. I also ordered from Steph from the I Said No podcast, and there was another one. Oh, I'm also going to be ordering from AJ from What We're Going to Do with some of his tees as well. So, you know, those I reached out to I wanted to order from the podcasters that like I really enjoy and listen to their content that have helped me first, and then I'm going to start reaching out and reaching out to and ordering from other podcasters as well. So that's just something, you know, while we're talking about what's on my mind and in my mind, I wanted to take some time out to like point out like how I'm trying to refocus my spending into not only helping other people, but then highlighting other people. I know the YouTube thing is fairly new for me. It's not like I do any huge numbers on YouTube like I do on the podcast side of things, but I will say that that with the YouTube thing is that as it grows, and if I have the opportunity to kind of help some other podcasters get out there and get noticed, even if it's just for teas, if somebody's watching the video and doesn't necessarily know it's for a podcast, they just like the tea, then yeah, and I'm gonna start putting links to the teas that I'm wearing in the description, so if anybody else wants to buy them. So yeah, that's it, man. I wanted to talk about that part, but let's get into the actual topics within the Mind of Haize segment. And the first one that I want to talk about is Megan Thee Stallion, right? So she came out with a video, I believe it was on Instagram Live. She streamed and she finally talked about being shot. She said she was shot in both of her feet. She had to get surgery. It was one of the scariest things in her life. And outside of that, the look on her face, and this is one of the times where I would say watching the video outside of just like reading the transcript or even hearing the words is important, because like when you see the look on her face, what she just was starting to talk about it, and as she's talking about it, she's definitely hurt. And she didn't say much. She didn't get into much detail about the actual incident and what caused it. She did say that, you know, contrary to some of the stories that were out there, she actually did not put her hands on anyone, so she didn't need to be shot or deserve to be shot at all in this case. And I'm sure she wasn't saying much because, you know, legally, I'm sure that plays an aspect in it as well, as far as why she isn't saying too much, is because legally she probably has been advised not to talk about it too much. So, but seeing it, and you know, we've talked about it. We'll probably get into it about it a little bit more on the Breaks Radio, get into a little more detail. But it's one of those things where it's like you feel her, and I think seeing her talk about it and seeing her face and seeing her reactions just made you really feel for her even more. Like, you hear somebody got shot in the foot. I don't know, I've done the jokes, so I'm not above this myself. I've done the jokes. We went to like the Harlem Nights thing and we made jokes about it, but at the same time, like, it's rough seeing it. You know, she talked about her mom passing away and how her mom was her best friend, and the fact that she's still not really over that. And then we know her and Tori were close regardless if they were dating or not. And the woman's only 25 years old. It's easy to forget that that Megan's only 25. It seems like she's been around for a while and like she's this bigger than life star. But just think about it where you were at 25, and think about if your parent was taken from you and then somebody that you were close with got into a situation where they shot you. So like, I just wanted to point that out because I felt bad because I know I've made the jokes as well. I'm not trying to guilt trip anyone because, you know, as we know, life gets turned into jokes and everything. But at the same time, you know, I wanted to talk about it and just get my 2 piece out there, send her my well wishes. Not that it matters, not that she's ever going to hear it, but, you know, all jokes aside, I think at this point we need to let this play out and stuff. So we'll see. And so the next thing that I want to talk about before we end this segment is that over the weekend, there were actually several protests, right? There were protests in Portland, Colorado, Illinois, Virginia, Kentucky. And then I think that was it. So there were protests over the weekend. And one of the things that, you know, I think, and this is where I get into my conspiracy theory hat, not a huge one, but like when the protests were first happening, right? After the George Floyd thing, we got coverage of protests damn near daily, hourly. Everything was about the protest or some fallout, people getting arrested, how such and such was reacting to the protest, what celebrity had something to say about a protest, who was at the protest. And now, as this has gone on for as long as it has, if you notice, the media isn't covering it as much, especially now with sports coming back. MMA's been back the whole time. Basketball comes back this week, which I'm really excited for. Baseball has been on TV with, I think they're still in preseason. And so as everything's starting to come back and the media is now having more things to cover, I think that, in my opinion, is that they're not covering the protests as much. And this, like I said, conspiracy theory hat, in a hope to make other people in other cities forget about it and hopefully calm places down where they can. And that's one of the bad things about when the media controls everything. And, you know, I admit from the top, this may be a complete wrong and incorrect statement on my side, but I really think that the media is now trying its best to keep it as localized as possible, not give it as much national coverage because they don't want it to continue to break out. They saw how it got. They saw how everyone bonded together and that there was like riots in every major city and in some smaller cities as well. And so, you know, it's kind of easy to forget the fact that this is still going on. I know we have the march coming up in DC that I really wanted to attend, but just with COVID on the rise again, I may not. But, you know, we got to keep in mind and continue talking about these things, and let's do it effectively. You got to be safe while you're out there too. I believe there were a few people, I believe the one in Portland, a couple of people got arrested and then I know that the one in Virginia as well, that there was some eyewitnesses that saw local black businesses getting broken into, and a dump truck was set on fire. So stay safe out there. Like I said before, like, I don't necessarily agree with rioting. I don't. I agree with protest. I don't agree with rioting, but I understand it. So I understand why it gets to that point. I understand the frustration and everything that gets involved in it and the emotions from dealing with everything that we've dealt with over the years and the generational shit. I get all that. We've done episodes on it, and I'm not going to get down it. So if you don't know my stance on it, go back and listen to those episodes, because my stance has been very well stated there of why I don't necessarily call for them or agree with them, but I understand them. But I think that just as we continue, we can't let the comeback of sports and you know, talk about the unemployment being taken away, the extra $600 that have been taken away, or talk of just another stimulus package, make us take away from, if you truly support this Black Lives Matter movement, and it's something that's important to you, don't stay quiet on it. Just keep using it. Even if you're not protesting, if you're not rioting, we can't let this go away and get faded out now with the media getting back to business as normal, so to say, as more things are reopening. So that's just my opinion on it. I wanted to talk about it because, you know, it's just, I find out that it happened in those states, and like, I know, at least for me, we didn't have any media coverage on it here for real. If it wasn't for me being someone who like watches and tries to see everything on the internet and stays up to touch on it, I probably would have missed it. So let's not stay quiet on it, right? Let's not let this be something that was just a wave and that fizzled out in 3 months. And it doesn't seem like, I want to make it clear, the people are fucking fed up and tired, and I love that people are using their platforms in the way that they have been to a degree, but you can't let sports aren't going to deter this at this point. It's not going to deter. But that's it. That's it during the Mind of Haize, everyone. Thank you guys for sitting around with me and going through that. We're going to actually take a break.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.